By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
The Serve Nebraska Volunteer Service Commission was created to ensure that community service would always be a priority in our state. I'm Governor Jim Pillen, and this year I'm inviting you to help celebrate Serve Nebraska's 30th year by becoming a volunteer. Our state's best resource is its people. You have the potential to make a significant impact. Thank you.
Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sheri Tills.
All right, welcome in. Happy Sunday. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, we got the host, Mike and Sheri of What's Next 24 in studio with me. As always, if you guys want to join in as we kick Sunday off here, 402-464-5685 is the Starter Human text line. And again, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. You can put a face to the voice all day long as we start things off here. Mike and Sheri, the host, I'll throw it over to you guys.
All right. Well, good morning. I'm Mike, and I'm with
Sheri.
And we're thrilled to bring you another episode of What's Next, where we dive into the latest happenings, inspiring stories, and special guests. We also want to give a shout out to our very talented producer, Harrison.
Yay!
Who keeps everything running smoothly behind the scenes. Stay tuned for a show packed with insights and fun. So I'll turn it over to Sheri. We're going to do our affirmations today.
We're going to do our affirmations today. We skipped them last week. I know you were all disappointed. I know Harrison was. And but we're going to do our little affirmations here. And Harrison, as usual, I'll pick one for you and slide it on down the table. There you go, doll. Yeah, just slide it down to him. And to our wonderful guest, which we'll introduce you to in just a minute. We're going to let him pick an affirmation, Mr. Michael. Whoops, excuse me. Sorry. If you get a blank one, you have to make one up.
No.
Okay, Harrison, kick us off.
Let's see here. I am passionate.
That's right.
Yes, you are.
Mr. Michael?
I deserve to be fully loved.
Yes, you do. And you tell your wife that too. You can take that one and show her for free. I can achieve great things.
And I am safe and secure.
Most of
the time. Most of the time.
And as usual, our other little way to start our show is we're going to read out of our good friend Ricky C. Simmons' book, 365 Days of Redemption. You can get this on Amazon, you guys. It's an amazing book. Just little shorts to encourage you to start your day. And I don't know if you can see, but There's also space here where you can write your notes, kind of journal a little bit. And this is a cool book. We love this book. Today, always remain calm when dealing with adversity because it helps you make good decisions. Don't get discouraged by what you're going through. A wise person avoids drama and doesn't waste time on trivial things. The first step to getting what you want is having the courage to get rid of what you don't want. Your time is coming. You've got to be patient. Thank you, Ricky. I personally needed to hear that one today. Once again, you can catch our good friend Ricky on his show here on 93.7 The Ticket from 7 to 8. And it is called Get Your Happy On. And it's always a fun show. It's an interesting show. And Ricky, we love you. And we're all going to get our happy on today, bud.
Sheri, you excited for who our guest is today?
I am excited for our guest today. I think a lot of people will recognize him and know him. He's pretty famous. I might need to get his autograph when we're done with this. Today, we have the pleasure of introducing our special guest, Michael C. Severe from Omaha. Michael's a prominent figure in our community with a wealth of experience in broadcasting and a genuine passion for connecting with his audience. I think you'll recognize him from numerous things. First of all, from KTV Channel 7. He was very prominent on that radio or on that TV station in Omaha. And he also does the Michael.
Oh, the Big Red Wrap-Up.
The Big Red Wrap-Up, which is huge for all of us Husker fans. Michael grew up all over the United States, though. He spent most of his formative years in New Orleans. As the youngest of 6 children, he developed a very unique perspective and a passion for storytelling. And in December 95, Michael graduated from Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, Texas, with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Broadcasting and a minor in Sociology. He began his broadcasting career in New Orleans as a sports producer for the New Orleans Saints Players Show. And I love that because I have numerous favorite NFL teams, but the Saints have always been one of my top 3. Well, not quite as high as the Bears in my mind, but once Bears fan, always the Bears fan. After a year, Michael transitioned to a sports news radio reporter role in Monroe, Louisiana. And while in Monroe, he covered the 97 NBA All-Star Game in Cleveland, Ohio. Following Northeast Nebraska natives, Carl Malone and Scottie Pippen, one of our faves. And then in May 2002, he joined KTV Newswatch 17 as the morning show reporter. And that's where, in the Midwest, that's where we all came to know and to love him and to really admire what he did in our community. Like Mike said, he's also the host of Big Red Wrap-Up, which is a popular sports show, delves into all the things related to Nebraska football, showcasing his deep knowledge and passion for the sport. I have to tell you that you are a weekly guest in our household on the Big Red Show. Beyond the broadcasting achievements, Michael serves as director of the Jet Award, which, as Johnny Rogers talked about a couple of weeks ago, that's the foundation that Johnny, one of Johnny's babies, and it's an organization that honors the nation's best and top return specialists in college football, promotes community events and youth programs. The dedication and Michael's dedication to community services in our area extends beyond his professionalism as he actively participates in a lot of these local initiatives. But the most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, he's a devoted father and husband. He balances that professional commitment with his family life. His passion for journalism, commitment to his community, and love for his family makes him a respectable and admirable figure in the Omaha area and also the surrounding areas, because I know Omaha just can't take the claim for all of you. I know you're very well known in Lincoln and a lot of areas around, but we're excited to dive into great conversation with you, Michael, today. And let's just get this party started.
Mike, it's really a true honor to have you down here today. I know you've got a busy schedule.
Oh, it's funny because, every day is just that day. You get everything done that day, and then you move on to the next day. Like Friday night, I'm also on the Nebraska Kidney Association board. So Friday night we had a wine tasting event, a fundraiser. Then Saturday, there's always something going on. You got to take care of something on Saturday. So we had a couple different things. I was part of a 10-mile ruck Saturday morning. We got canned goods and non-perishables and toiletries for the homeless. And so we did a 10-mile ruck Saturday morning, and then, watched some college football, then came up here last night, ate here. So yeah, then did this morning. So this is every day you just do something and just, move on.
Well, I hope this is not an hour of good rest for you today.
I have to say, we are so thankful and honored that you took the time.
Oh, no
to be
problem.
on our show.
I'm glad we can make it work.
Let's go ahead and jump in. A lot of people see you on television, but we like to pull back the curtain. Would you mind just telling us your background from where you were born and raised, and tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, it's a little complicated. Dirk Chatlin, longtime writer for the Omaha World Herald, used to go, "Where haven't you lived?" And I'm like, "There's some places I haven't lived." But I was born in Los Angeles, and my birth mother, she left me at the hospital there in Los Angeles, and my father, who was 59 at the time, called his niece, who's my first cousin, Juanita, and said, "I know you have 3 daughters. Would you like a son?" And she said, "Oh, sure." And so she jumped on a plane, and she had never flown out west before. Luckily, though, her aunt lived there, and so ended up contacting her. They found where I was. It was this really cool hospital they had for unwed mothers. It's actually still there. It's a kind of a home now for unwed mothers to go there and live while they are getting ready to have their baby. So it's still in place now. But anyway, she went there, picked me up, and brought me back to New Orleans. I lived in New Orleans, so I was about 3 years old because my dad had a heart attack living back east. He was a chef, a caterer. He had done that for years. And I guess he decided, I don't know this for a fact, but I would assume this, kind of started feeling his mortality. So he said, well, I want to have my son. So he came down to New Orleans and said he was going to take me for the summer. And I ended up coming back until he passed away 7 years later. But anyway, I went up to New York, stayed with my aunt Vivian. I stayed with her for almost 4 years in New York in the Bronx. And then she moved back to New Orleans. And so my dad came and got me, and I moved with him in Pennsylvania, a couple different places. I lived in Allentown. We lived in Pottsville. We lived in Sellersville. At the very end, last year and a half of his life or so, he worked at Penn State, and he was a chef there, cooked for all of the fraternity bro. It was really cool kind of gig because I would go along with him for some stuff and watch some really interesting stuff happen at the fraternities.
Oh, wow.
I watched these people eat this giant red onion and then get sick from it. I watched guys climb up these, there was a little hill behind one of the houses, and they spray water down it, and you had to go up the muddy hill and try to get up there to the top but it was fun. And so then he passed away late 1979, and I moved back to New Orleans. And I lived there all the way through high school. And after high school, I wanted to leave. New Orleans was a very violent place when I was there in 87. That was my senior year of high school. You couldn't trust police officers. You couldn't trust really anything at the time. It was really a corrupt city. It was bad. And so I just wanted to get out. And one of my sisters, my youngest sister, she had moved to Houston. And she said, why don't you come over here? You can go to school and work. And so I did that. I went to Houston, started working at a grocery store, started going to North Harris Community College. I was working also at a pizza place at the same time.
Wow.
And because of those 2 jobs, let's say my grades didn't do well. And so one day a buddy of mine said, hey, what do you think about going in the Army? And I was like, all right, I'll go with you. And then we went down to the MEPS in Houston and signed up to be in the Army Reserves. And he ended up not going. And yeah, and so,
the rug out for
yeah,
me.
he didn't go. And so October of that year, which would have been 1989, I joined the Army, and I went to basic training in Fort Knox. And then from Fort Knox, I ended up going to Fort Rucker, Alabama. I was a helicopter maintenance guy. Went down there. And then right around that time, if you remember, that was Desert Shield, Desert Storm.
Yeah. Oh,
and so we ended up getting activated for that. The unit, I was out of Conroe, Texas, 7th to the 6th Cav. And then after that, about 6 months after that, we never went overseas. We never deployed, and that didn't last. That conflict didn't last very long. But we stayed down there and then left there, went back to Texas, started going to Sam Houston State University, which you had in the bio there. And it was really a chance to go there because when I was young working at the Kroger, I met this kid who was probably like 14, 15, first job. And then when I left to go to the Army and did all that stuff and then came back, at that point, he was already in college at Sam Houston. And he said, you should come up one weekend and check out the radio, television, film department. You think it'd be awesome. And so I did it. I went up that one weekend, hung out with everybody, and then went back to the community college for 6 months, got my grades to where I could transfer to Sam. And at that point, I was a hard driving person. I graduated in like 2.5 semesters. I was taking like 18 hours one semester, 21 hours the next semester. My last semester of school, so I could graduate. I wanted to graduate before I was 25. I took 27 hours that semester. And the crazy part was, at the same time, I was flying back and forth to New Orleans, producing that show on the weekends. So I would, Friday afternoon, I'd have a car. I'd hitch a ride to Houston from Sam, which is about an hour. I'd fly there. I'd get there like Friday afternoon. I'd work Friday night, Saturday, Sunday morning, Saint stuff. And then late that evening, I get back on a plane. I'd fly back to Houston. I'd get a ride back to Sam, do all my classes, do that every weekend, do that for about a year. And so it was a busy time, but finally graduated and into 94, and then went to Monroe, Louisiana, where I got my first job, which was crazy finding a first job. And I know kids now, and I always tell them this, whatever opportunity comes about, you'll probably say to yourself, I'm not qualified for it, or maybe that's not what I want. Maybe that's not a place I don't want to live there. I don't like the idea of that. Just take the opportunity. That's how it was for me. I wasn't planning going to Monroe, Louisiana. I didn't want to go back to Louisiana. At that point, I'd actually moved up to DC. I was trying to get on with some stuff up there. I tried to get on with BET and do some stuff up there. And the job opened up in Monroe, and it was the best thing for me because that job allowed me to do news and do sports. It allowed me to do a lot of live stuff. It just trained me to be the next step. And after being there for a couple of years, and I got a chance to cover Eddie Robinson's last couple of years at Grambling, at the time the winningest coach in college football. It was just an awesome time to be there. Louisiana Tech upset Alabama while I was there. It was just incredible time. And then from there, ended up out in Albuquerque, which again was an opportunity that I wouldn't have normally taken. I wanted to go actually back east. I wanted to stay out east. And they said, we have this education reporter job we're starting. You're going to be a full-time education reporter, first one in New Mexico. We have a horrible education system. We want somebody to cover it full-time. And I said yes to that. Meant leaving sports completely. Went out there, stayed there for over 4 years, learned a lot, got to experience New Mexico, which is an amazing state with a really bad education department.
My mom and stepdad live there.
It's gorgeous. We live in Albuquerque. My now wife came out there and stayed with me. We were living there for a couple of years, and then her mother got ill. She's from here. She's from Omaha. She's from South Omaha. Our mother got ill again. She had cancer, and so she moved back here to take care of her mom. And then her mom passed. And about 6 months later, I was literally in the kitchen of the TV station in Albuquerque. And there was a posting for a job in Omaha. And it was kind of like, whoa, that's kind of weird. And so I actually knew the news director in Omaha because before getting the job, this is just chance, before getting the job in Albuquerque, I'd applied for a job in Omaha. So I knew the news director a little bit. She knew me. She knew my wife's mom because my wife's mom was a 4-H person. And so her mom used to go in and do the noon show all the time. And so, small world. And so I called Roseanne Shannon and said, hey, I'd like to apply for this job. And she said, it's going to be a big pay cut. You're going down in markets. And I said, I know, I know. This is doing this for love. And so I applied for the job. I got the morning gig. That's when they were expanding it. When we were growing up, the morning show was just teases to go into Good Morning America. Then it was a half an hour. Then it was an hour, then an hour and a half. Now it's 2 hours. So they were expanding at the time to an hour and a half. And so I started doing the morning show back then in 2002 and planned on staying here in Omaha and in Nebraska for about 3 years. That was the plan.
That was the plan.
And we ended up getting pregnant, and we got married in 04, got pregnant in 05 with my oldest, Miles. He had a lot of health issues. I started doing a second job doing afternoon sports talk, which just was really random. 1620 needed someone to go with Kevin Kugler, the world famous Kevin Kugler. And so I applied for that job, got that job. And so at that point, after we had Miles and I had the 2 jobs, we're like, well, let's just stay here for a while because Omaha is an amazing place to have a sick child.
Yes, it is.
My God, if it's not Boys Town, it's the Med Center, it's Children's Hospital. Everybody takes care of you there. And so we stayed, and it was great. I mean, Miles has gone through a lot. Miles has had more than 40 surgeries. We've had to go everywhere from Baltimore, Johns Hopkins, from there to Cincinnati, to all different places for all the different procedures he's had and things he's had to get done. But right now he's in college at UNO. He's doing great. We end up having a second child, Logan, who has the same syndrome that Miles has, a little lesser. And he's doing great. He's a sophomore now over at Central. But, I went from working at KETV and working at the Zone. I left KETV just to work at the Zone full time. And then I got a job at the World Herald. I started the Bottom Line there at the World Herald. Stayed there for 5 years doing that radio show. Went back to the Zone for a couple years. COVID hit. It made me really reconsider life a little bit and realize that I spent a lot of time just watching sports and doing that stuff to be ready for shows. And I really kind of loved when there was no sports, which was kind of weird because I'm a sports guy. But at that point, I said, I got to find something else to do. I ended up leaving there. Got a job with the city of Papillion, which was an outstanding job. Great people, wonderful mayor, just awesome people in City Hall down there. I never would have left the job. Never would have. I'd have retired there. Great pension, great insurance, just wonderful place to be. But Johnny came to me and said, we need an executive director for the Jet Award Foundation. We're trying to expand. We're trying to get this thing going and rolling. And at first I said no because I had no experience as an executive director. I had never worked in nonprofits. They came back and they offered it again. And I said, sure. I took the job. That was in July of last year. And it's been great. It's hard. Every day something new. You just always try, begging for money is not great. Not a fun thing to do. Writing grants and getting turned down for grants. I've never been rejected more than in this job. You get rejected constantly for everything you apply for and stuff, but it's great. And I think we've done a really good job with it. We've provided over 400 scholarships to students going to Metro. Yeah. We've expanded to Iowa Western now. We have 10 students over there with the Jet Award. And so the Johnny Rogers Career and Technical Scholarship is not just at Metro, it's now at Iowa Western. We're hoping to expand it at Iowa Western too, to make it even bigger than it is there. That's kind of my job, making sure that we raise money for these scholarships so more students can go into the trades, end up in the workforce, help workforce development, and eliminate generational poverty. That's the best way to do it with post-secondary education. And that's what we're trying to do.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When do you sleep?
So I've never been a big sleeper, just never have. There was a time I always joke with this with my wife. So when I was going to college and I was working at Kroger, you got to get your 40 hours in, right? But I was living in Huntsville, so I had to drive back and forth. Yeah. I had a gas guzzler car. I had this diesel Volvo at the time, actually, that I had bought used. And so what I would do is I would go down there on a Friday night. I'd work the 4 to midnight. Then I would go upstairs and sleep for 4 hours. Then I'd work the 4 to 12. So I'd knock out, half my 16 hours of my shift that way. I would do the same thing during the middle of the week. I'd work the night shift, sleep upstairs, work the morning shift. So I didn't have to drive back and forth as much. But I've never been a big sleeper. I'm a morning person. I rise at usually 4 a.m. Really? Most times. I get up at that time. Dog and I leave the house at 5. We usually go for about 6 miles. And then we come back, get back in time to wake my youngest up, make sure he's up, feed him. I believe in a hot breakfast. I believe every child should leave the house with a hot breakfast if they can. The cereal is great for college students. It's not for growing boys. So we get a hot breakfast in him. I drop him off at school. I come back, get ready, go to work.
Where'd you get this drive? I mean, hearing you, I'm curious about in terms of going back to your childhood a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure being adopted has got to throw you some questions, and you're moving from place to place. Mm-hmm. Did that throw in the early years? Did you have some doubts, some fears, some uncertainties, or was it just instant? You've always had this drive.
The great thing about that childhood was you got to kind of recreate yourself every new place you went, and so it was really interesting because you could go to a place. I remember when I started going to school at Whitehall Elementary School, which is just outside of where Penn State is. Mm-hmm. And I was going to school there. And by that time I was in 4th grade, and I'd gone to probably 4 or 5 different schools at that point, from kindergarten to there. And when I got there, I remember thinking to myself, you know what? Now I'm going to be an athlete. That's what I'm going to do now. At one place early on, I was like, okay, I'm a drawer. I would draw these like Indian type of sculptures. I don't know how it started. And then the next place, I want to be a writer. So I wrote a bunch of like short stories about vampires. I loved vampires as a kid. And then when I got to Whitehall, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start drawing. I'm not a very good drawer either, but I would draw these giant like, what do you call the things with the Indian trees? They cut into trees. I can't remember what they're called now. Not tomahawks. Well, totem pole. Totem pole. Thank you very much. I would draw these totem poles. I don't know how it started, but I would draw it on everything. That was my new thing. And so every time I go someplace, you recreate yourself. that allowed you to be a really good storyteller, which I think eventually helped me be a good reporter because I learned how to tell stories.
We need to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with Michael Severe, and we'll talk more in just a minute.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
My husband has always been the one we depend on. He's a great dad, loves the outdoors,
But lately, he hasn't been himself. He tried to hide it, but I can tell he's struggling with his mental health. I called the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
988 calls and texts are free and confidential with skilled caring support 24/7. No judgment, just help.
988 saved my husband's life.
Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sheri Tills.
All right, welcome back in. What's Next 24? Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, we got the host, Mike and Sheri, to my left, as well as a great guest. And I believe we got some trivia to start this one out as well. So 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, as always. And this trivia's got a little bit of an asterisk to it. So, Mike, I'll let you go ahead and ask
back. We're having a great conversation with Michael Severe. We also want to mention Mike is the host of the Big Red Wrap-Up Show, which is a tremendous show that's got great history here in Nebraska. But I thought I'd throw out a quiz question. In its current format, what year did the show Big Red Wrap-Up first premiere? And we'll leave that out, and we'll get back to it. Mike, let's switch back. I love your drive. I love your energy. Let's begin real quick where you said how the Army helped you create this.
It did. I was, like I said, I was never a great student. I was okay. I got by. But when I went in the military, that going to basic, right, which is about a 9-week process. You know, you have reception where you make sure that you can do a certain amount of push-ups. You make sure you can see fine. They test you. They do everything, right? And then they kind of mess with your brain a little bit. Like they have you dig up grass on this side and then replace it with rock. And then the next day you take the rock and you replace it, you put the grass again. They do stuff in reception to see how you're going to be when you get to basic. But I went to basic at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Drill Sergeant Thayer, Drill Sergeant Yoder were my drill sergeants. I was in 2nd Platoon. And I really just realized at a point, right, probably the 2nd or 3rd weekend, that so you have these levels when you're in the military, when you're in basic. So the first week, you do certain things. Second week, you got to accomplish certain things. By the 3rd week, you're doing drop every time. Every time you see the drill sergeant, you're doing 30 push-ups. And I realized that if you just focus on each one of those things, that you can really accomplish a lot. And I guess I could have learned that before, but I really learned it then. I learned it in the Army. They give you this book. It's the Army Bible. You go through. It's a green book. I had a great time learning everything. I loved memorizing everything in the book. I like the idea of the guys who were in the group who weren't very good at that, helping them, teaching them little ways to figure out how to memorize the names of the grenades, or figuring how to memorize different no-go situations for testing. And our goal, it was about 4 of us who were a little bit older, because I would have been 20. We got together and these little study groups at night with the students, with the other soldiers who were struggling. And our goal was to make sure everybody had a go, not a no-go. And we did. All 4 platoons, the entire company had a go. And that was, that just taught me something. And then I went to AIT and started working on helicopters, which was the Huey's an amazing aircraft. And so that was really cool. I learned a lot there at Fort Rucker. It just got me motivated. I found this incredible motivation, basically realizing that if I just did one thing at a time, just accomplish goals, that you'd be able to be successful.
I love that. That's what we try to tell people. We
notice where you got your drive.
We notice where people in the community, right now are suffering so much that they lose their drive.
Yeah.
That's the message I want. That people I see it all over town. They've lost their drive, the goal they missed, so they don't work toward it. They focus too much on the past. They're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that story. Due to time, let's pivot. I'd like to pivot now to and honor your children, your sons. Let's talk a little bit about that. Now, I'm sorry, I don't remember the names.
Miles and Logan.
And they happen to have a certain
syndrome.
Could you touch on that?
Yeah,
and tell
sure.
the story.
I also want to real quick. A big part of my drive, watching my mother, Juanita, who adopted me, worked 2 jobs. She busted her butt all the time to make sure that we got to go to Catholic school. She was a big part of it too. Watching her drive helped me out as well. Miles and Logan were born with Treacher-Collins syndrome. It turns out I have it. And it turns out that my birth mother had it.
Is it a genetic?
It's a genetic disorder. It's random. But if you have it, then there's a 50% chance that you'll pass it along, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Miles was born in December of 2005. And, my wife was very large. And we just thought that Miles was going to be a big baby. It turned out the reason why she was so large is she had so much amniotic fluid in there because Miles wasn't drinking it the way he's supposed to because of some of the malformations in his face. So and in his throat and the drinking apparatus and everything. So what happens is he's born, she has a C-section, they pull him out, and then immediately it's quiet. There's actually a movie called Wonder, which is about a child with that particular syndrome. The exact same thing happens in the movie. Everybody's kind of joking around everything, and then all of a sudden the baby comes out and you're like, uh-oh, there's issues. And so they rush him out. They take him into the room. I follow him. My job was to get a picture of him on the scale, right? So I'm just focused on that. And the lady who was she was a flight nurse. It was middle of the night. It was 3:30 in the morning. So flight nurse, she looks at me and she goes, okay, he doesn't have ears. We're not sure about his eyes. We're not sure about his breathing. We're just going to get him to the NICU. That's all she said. Years later, I met her and she said, because I knew you on Channel 7, I felt like I knew you. The normal parent, I wouldn't have said those things to.
That's right.
She said that I wouldn't have said those things to you. I would have couched it a lot better, but I thought I knew you and I just said all those things. Anyway, we were taken down to the NICU and we learned more about Treacher-Collins syndrome. There's no developmental disorder stuff. It's just those areas of where the cheekbones would be developed, where the ears would be developed, where the chin, where a lot of cleft palates in there. And so Miles started having, surgeries pretty much right away. He had a jaw distraction when he was like 5 days old. We thought that once he had the jaw distraction, he was okay. He's in my arms. I'm holding him. All of a sudden I hear the nurse say OS. She grabs him. She bags him really quickly, gets him back. He had his part of his esophageal flop back. It was a floppy thing on his. And so that's what stopped him from breathing. So then we realized, oh my God, we got to have surgery on that. They couldn't fix that. So that's when he got a trach. And then he had a trach for, 2.5 years, which was it just exhausting, because you're sleeping in the room with him. Sometimes you have a nurse that can come by. Friday nights, we took him over to Children's Health, which was a little children's house. It was cool. We drop him off. We would get some sleep, and then we go pick him up on Saturday, and then we just start the process of the week all over again. But he's developed into he's such a happy kid. All the stuff he's been through, all the pain, all the surgeries. A jaw distraction surgery is they cut the bone and they put these screws in, and every day you turn the screws and it separates that bone, and then bone grows into place. Think about the pain that is. And he went through that 4 different times until 2 years ago when he had what they call the Fort procedure, which is they take the mid-face, they pull it out, they raise it up, they build a chin, and then the idea behind that is to make the airway bigger. And they did. It was a great surgery. Dr. Disa got it to where it went from like being a little end of your finger airway to where it's like almost a full finger. So he's much better breather now. He's not on CPAP anymore. And like I said, he's at UNO and he's doing great. And then Logan, who is a brilliant kid. I mean, absolutely drives me crazy with the questions he asked me and stuff like that all the time. But he plays both the tuba and the baritone and the band at Central. And he loves it. And he's in Quiz Bowl and he does that a little bit of everything, works over now at Chick-fil-A. So they're both doing great.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of families will have these types of challenges come at them. They're not expected. How did you and your wife prepare?
We were lucky. We're really lucky because my wife's a social worker, right? And so at that time she was working in maternal care there in the med center. So she knew what we needed to do. She knew that we needed to go out and try to find some respite care. She knew we needed to go try to find nurses. How can we find nurses? How can we afford to find nurses? So she knew all that stuff.
She knew how to negotiate that system because it is a system. Yeah. And if you don't know how to negotiate it, it can be so overwhelming, and almost a little oppressive.
Yeah, there was a young girl who had died years before, and her family put together this trust. And part of the trust was it paid for overnight nursing care. And so we got that. We like 3 or 4 nights a week we would have that, which
Wow.
really helped, especially during the week because I was working 2 jobs. And so I would get like, a couple hours of sleep every day. I'd take naps in the live truck in the morning. And so, yeah, it was, if it wasn't for my wife understanding the system, as you mentioned it, I don't know if we could have gotten through it.
How did you overcome it mentally? That had to be, it had to weigh on you. You're not sleeping. You're not getting much sleep.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you this. I cried that first night. I was sitting in there. Miles was down at the NICU. I was waiting for the doctor who I knew to come get me to take me down there. And it was just quiet. And it was sad. I started crying right there.
Yeah.
Called a friend of mine. I tried to call one of my sisters, and it was middle of the night and didn't answer. So I called a friend of mine, and she answered, and we talked for a little while. Says, "You need us to come up there?" I'm like, "No, we'll be okay." And then after that, it was just, let's just get this done. Let's just drive. And I don't ever remember one night again after that moment where I felt to myself that felt sorry for us or anything else. We were just going to get it done.
What would you say the lessons were through this whole process?
Oh, the lessons are, doctors are incredible people. NICU nurses are a blessing from God. Just the whole process that we have out there, especially in Omaha and in Nebraska, is just incredible that we have that. And then, and the biggest lesson is that you just have to take day by day. You got to take one. They told us when Miles was, I'd say, less than 10 days old, what it was going to take. And basically everything they said from that moment to he was 16 and had that Lafort, or actually 17 when he had the Lafort, basically came true. Everything. They said, by this time, you're going to do this, and you're going to have to get these done for the hearing aids. Everything they said in that journey was true. And so all we had to do was follow it. It's Candyland. You just had to go to the next stop, the next stop, the next stop, the next stop. And at the end, we are where we are.
But see, that is so, that is so crucial. And that's what makes following that path easy. A lot of people that deal with the medical, that deal with, the special needs. There's so many labels, and I hate the labels, but to be able to have doctors and have them lay that plan out, and I was telling you on the break with my daughter, we didn't have a plan. They couldn't answer any questions.
Right.
They couldn't do anything. So, some parents, you have to research yourself. You have to advocate. Sometimes, and many times, I found myself not only pushing the doctors and the specialists saying, this is what I want, let's try this.
Right.
But also in all aspects of your children's lives, going, maneuvering through the school system, whether it's private or public, that's even harder, where you really have to. Numerous times I had to just say, no, this is how we're going to do it. If you don't like it, that's just too bad.
Yeah. And I should say that the Omaha public school system has been great.
Oh, yes.
Great. So we went to a magnet school, elementary school for hearing impaired.
Oh, awesome.
Both in elementary school at Western Hills and then Lewis Clark. So we had hearing impaired teachers there. We had extra services. We had speech therapists there. Right. Everything. It was they've been great. They've been
they provide and offer so.
Yeah, IEP. He's at IEP since a little kid. You know what that and it just got us to the point where everything he needed, sitting in the front of the room, making sure that he was turned a certain way, making sure he got printed copies of stuff, making sure everything he needed. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike, let's pivot. Take us behind the scenes. How did you get the Big Red Wrap Up host, and what's it like to put that show together?
So Kevin Kugler was the host for a number of years. Kevin and I did a radio show together from 2004 to 2012, and fairly successful. Unsportsmanlike conduct. It went really great. The whole time Kevin was doing Big Red Wrap Up, and I was a guest a couple times on there. I'd go around and hang out a little bit. And when it was coming to the end where Kevin wasn't going to do Big Red Wrap anymore, just had too much stuff on his plate, especially with national stuff, having to fly out on Thursdays and be doing basketball games. He actually mentioned me to the folks and said, hey, maybe Michael could do it. Went in, did a kind of a tryout, met with them. And that's five years ago now, and got the gig mainly because Kevin recommended me.
Does that show feel pressure to you? That's an iconic show for Nebraska, in my opinion.
It's pressure because, I have to admit, they've lost a lot during the stretch where I've been doing this show.
Yeah. And
so, obviously they haven't made a bowl game. Before last year, they hadn't won 3 games in a row at any point during that stretch. So the pressure of that, and it's very strange. I've been going through, this is something brand new for me. The last month or so, I've been having these anxiety attacks, kind of. It's very weird. Came out of nowhere. I'd never had it before. It primarily happens during the show.
It's Husker.
And so I'm dealing with this anxiety, panic throughout the shows now. So went from being a very easy show to now powering through this. And so that's been the last 5 weeks. That's been really tough. But other than that, it's fun. You get to talk about the Huskers. You get to interview people. You know, Jay and Damon and Sean. They're great. So it's easy. Other than the panic stuff.
We need to take another break. We'll be right back with a little bit more with Michael Severe.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Beecham from Brand Lincoln Podcast and Perch Merch, your go-to in Lincoln for printing and promotional needs. Speaking of that, we are running a huge hoodie sale now through November 30th to save you big money on great brands. 20% off everything from Nike and Bella Canvas pullovers to Gildan and Port & Company sweatshirts and district fleeces. Get yours for your group or organization today by calling us at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in November. Try their brand new fall sweet trays, including cinnamon rolls, pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cheesecake brownies, and apple croissants. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Ward.